All right, in this episode, 1 Peter 1 and 10, of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently. So, before we start this off and give our honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua, Wahakadash Wakah, double honors to the apostles and the elders at the great millstone who are well, peace and blessings to the brothers teaching the truth, the hopefully elect, the faithful brothers teaching the truth, uh, men and women, children out there of the Israelite nation that will be, saved as well, the believers, all right? So-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. All right? So 1 Peter 1 and 10, of which salvation the prophets have inquired, right? So it's a particular salvation, right? And one is knowing what salvation is first and foremost. So I'm going to go ahead and get that. This is Luke 1 and 68. St. Luke 1 and 68. Blessed be the Lord, God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, right? And hath raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. You see, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. So you had the holy men, right? The prophets, which only come out of the Israelite nation, which tells you it's verified in the book of Amos, the second chapter, right, 11th verse. You had that salvation being wrote about, spoken about by, the prophets, right? But they didn't know, they couldn't see it. You see what I'm saying? Because it's a particular type of salvation in which they were speaking to, you see? But this is verse 71. It says that we should be saved from our enemies. You see that? So they're trying to put their finger on how. Because you got to think, for example, slacking in from the hand at all that hate us. You got to think, for example, Jeremiah, he was in the Babylonian captivity, right? So we're going to go to Jeremiah 9 and Slack 8, and we're going to start at 20. It says, the harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. You see what I'm saying? So Jeremiah was looking around, because our people, him included, we were delivered into the hands, you see, of our enemies, right? Those that hate us, right? Ezra's another example. So he was looking to be saved from our enemies and in the hand of all of them that hate us, right? In a particular way, right? In a real, obviously, a real unique way. Ezra's, ancestor of the prophets, Ezra, he was also speaking to these things to the point where the angel had to come to him and check him because he got the question in the Lord on such a high level. For example, this is 2nd Ezra 6, and I'm gonna start at 2nd Ezra 3. I'm gonna start at verse 1. In the 13th year after the ruin of the city, I was in Babylon. You see, and lay troubled upon my bed. You see, and lay troubled upon my bed, and my thoughts came up over my heart. You see what I'm saying? So we're just like today, like even back then, right? You had the enlightened ones, those in tune. You see what I'm saying? In particular, we're talking about the prophets, and even those that listen to the prophets, really concerned, with more serious matters. Here it is, people want to be full of shit and all these petty things, and we're in captivity and we troubled, and you're just always bothered because we're in the hand of them that hate us. We're in the hand of our enemies, but you see what I'm saying? And you got your fucking woman, or whatever the hell she is to you. You got goddamn kids. You got a damn job. You see what I'm saying? And all these things are really not even supposed to be. And if they aren't in a way in which they are supposed to be, because why? You are living all these you are living out all these different things, right? In the worst condition. And that's being in the hand of your enemies and all them that hate you. So with that being said, you know, it's like Yahweh Shah, he was born, he's a baby. You can't even enjoy your baby, the birth of your child, because you got to flee to Egypt. You see, because our the women were subjected all the way to in ancient Egypt to have to give up the Israelite boys that they would bear. You see what I'm saying? Fast forward back to the time when Yahweh Shah was born. Herod heard the prophecy. You see the Messiah being born. He ordered all any child from 2 and down to be killed, I believe. You see, a male child. You see, so those are all Hebrews, all Hebrew Israelite children from or babies from the ages of 2 on down to be killed. You see, because they heard he was just born, so he figured if he was late, he could. But my whole point of saying that we in these situations where that's supposed to be a beautiful time, a beautiful experience. That stuff that's supposed to happen, that's actually of our heritage. Have children and stuff like that, or just the father's reward, stuff like that. But you can't experience it in the right way because you're experiencing it in the worst condition. You see, so that force is one, right? That's seeing all this, that's considering this, a righteous soul, right? That's complaining and crying, right? To look for a fucking way out, man. You see what I'm saying? Especially when the Lord got you speaking on these things. But these things that sound like it's alluding to us being saved, they so peculiar, you trying to figure out how it's actually gonna be. You see? And that's the times we coming into now. But before I go into that, let me go ahead and finish this. So Ezra's, he's another testament to this. This is 2nd Ezra 3:1. In the 13th year, after the ruin of the city, meaning Israel, right? Jerusalem. I was in Babylon. I was in Babylon, and lay troubled upon my bed, and my thoughts came up over my head, for I saw the desolation of Sion and the wealth of them that dwelt at Babylon. You see what I'm saying? So here it is. We above all fucking people. We above Slakia. We above all people, and we watching these heathens. But yet we done lost our status and been and have succumbed to being tributaries, right? Taxpayers. You see, employees to those that are our slaves. You see what I'm saying? Why before even having all the promises promised to us, given to us. You see? But that don't still change. These people are our slaves, you know? And on top of that, having our city be made desolate and our people in the worst mental state at that time as possible. You see what I'm saying? And then in the midst of all that, you watching your enemies in which whose hands you've been given to, be at ease and come up. You see, as they said in the world. And my spirit was sore moved, so So he said, "For I saw the desolation of Sion and the wealth of them that dwelt at Babylon, and my spirit was sore moved, so that I began to speak words full of fear to the Most High, and said, O Lord, who bears rule? Thou spakest at the beginning, right? When thou didst plant the earth, and that thyself alone, and commandest the people, and gavest a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee." So obviously Ezra is a prophet, you see, because you going into all these different things, right? When you do really deal with the Lord, you're a true Israelite. This what comes with it: the knowledge, wisdom, understanding of the Creator, right? This is what you deal with, right? So us being Israelites is not only that, but also the prophecies, right? Things that's going to happen, right? It was some more things that come uh, from the Father, our inheritance, how it is to be acted upon, our heritage. You see what I'm saying? The promises. You see what I'm saying? And one of those main things of it is salvation that was always spoke upon. So it says, "And thou leddest him into a paradise, you see, with thy right hand, which thy right hand had planted, before ever the earth came forward." You see? So deep things. But one of the deepest things that the prophets could not figure out, that they was inquiring about and searching for, is this salvation. You see what I'm saying? How? It must be crazy, because it's just not, it just won't come. It's not, you see what I'm saying? It says, "And unto him thou gavest thy commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed. And immediately thou appointest death in him and in his generation, of whom came nations." It says, "Tribes, people, and kindreds out of number. And every people walked after their own will, and did wonderful things before thee, and despised thy commandments." So he's going over all this. I'm not going to get all of this. Now, let's jump down to the point. So he went on the spiel. So it says, now we're going to jump down to the point. 23. "So the times passed away, and the years were brought to an end. Then didst thou raise up thee a servant called David, whom thou commandest to build." So he's going back over. He's like, I'm trying to figure this thing out. Like, how the hell me? We go all the way back to, you see what I'm saying? So he's trying to figure it out. He says, "So whom thou commandest to build a city unto thy name, and to offer incense and oblation unto thee therein, unto thee therein. When this was done many years, then they took inhabited then they that inhabited the city forsook thee," right? So the Israelites, "and in all things did even as Adam," right? "Even as Adam and all his generations had done, for they also had a wicked heart. So thou gavest thy city over into the hands of thy enemies. Are their deeds then any better than Are their deeds then any better that inhabit Babylon, that they should therefore have the dominion over Sion? When I came thither and had seen impieties without number, or impities without number, then my soul saw many evildoers in this 13th year, Salakia, 30th year, so that my heart failed me. For I seen how thou sufferest dumb sinning, and hast spared wicked doers, and hast destroyed thy people, and hast preserved thine enemies, and hast not signified it. I do not remember how this way may be left. Are they then of Babylon better than they of Sion? Or is there any other people that knoweth thee besides Israel? Or what generation hath so believed thy covenants as Jacob? And yet their reward appeared not. You see, and their labor hath no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I see that they flow in wealth, and think not upon thy commandments. Weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in the balance, and theirs also that dwell in the world. So shall thy name go nowhere, Slakia, shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel. Or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight? Or what people have so kept thy commandments? Thou shalt find that Israel by name have kept thy precepts, but not the heathen. So, Ezra was pissed off. So that's why. So we got plenty of prophets, that we can go into this with, man. But nonetheless, that was just my quick example. So that's why we have First Peter 1 and 10, of which salvation, right? And salvation being us being saved from our enemies, man. You see what I'm saying? And delivered out their hands. It says, of which salvation the prophets, you see, have inquired and searched diligently. So clearly he was saying all that, went back over Adam, he ran back through it, how the Lord set everything up, and he like, I know the accounts, I know the Lord's will, because he's a prophet. You see what I'm saying? So he said, I'm trying to figure. Basically, he did all that, try to figure out where the hell is us being saved at in this. You see, like, pretty much it says, who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you? You see what I'm saying? And Isaiah, he talked about that, right? He said the Lord wasn't. Jeremiah, he wrote of the new covenant. You see what I'm saying? You can read about that in the 31st verse. Isaiah, he wrote about when we rule over the heathen in Isaiah the 60th chapter. You see what I'm saying? All these different things, man, all these different prophets, and then you got all the other prophets, So they ultimately, in order for all these things to come, the Lord will have to save us first. You see what I'm saying? He's going to gather us from all the countries that he has scattered us to. That's talked about in all the other prophets. You see, that's all alluding to salvation. So that's the grace that they was prophesying about, you see, to us. And Isaiah wrote about Yahushua coming and how he was going to judge the nations. You see, this is Isaiah 59:1. Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened that it cannot save, neither is his ear heavy that it cannot hear. You see what I'm saying? So that's that, man. So let's get another example. Isaiah the 14th chapter. At the end, the Lord shall choose Israel again, man. Isaiah 61:1. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty, right? There's that freedom to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn. You see what I'm saying? It says to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes. You see what I'm saying? The oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, or the Most High, that he might be glorified. And they shall build the old wastes. They shall raise up the former desolations. They shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks. And and the sons of the aliens shall be your plowmen and vine dressers. You see what I'm saying? So the Lord is going to save us, man. And you know what? I got a better one real quick to go ahead and close this out, wrap this home. This is Jeremiah 16 and 15. It says, I'm going to start at 13. It says, therefore will I cast you out of this land, because he tells us in the previous verses how our forefathers went against him. And we have done worse. You see what I'm saying? But he went on to say this, therefore will I cast you out of this land into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers, and there ye shall serve other gods day and night, where I will not shew you favor. Therefore, behold, the days come. You see what I'm saying? Saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, or Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, but Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. You see what I'm saying? So this is the Lord telling us. So this is that me scattering you only set up your salvation, and the prophets were set up to be the mouthpiece of talking about this. So even though they was the mouthpiece for talking about this, they're still of the Israelites to be saved. So they're thinking about it themselves. You see what I'm saying? We're thinking about it ourselves. Like, man, you see what I'm saying? Like, where is this? You know, we reading about it, we bringing it out, but this got to really be, you see what I'm saying? This going to have to be crazy, because he just won't bring it. Jeremiah wrote about how a salvation is promised to us that's going to pretty much do away with the magnitude of how the Lord saved our ancient ancestors out of ancient Egypt when he split the Red Sea, jacked the dang water up like it was a person, made it stand up on his feet. You see what I'm saying? Based off what he's about to, that salvation he's gonna bring for us in the end of the world. You see what I'm saying? So if it has to come, it just makes you think and wonder, especially while we still suffering and waiting for it. How great must it be? What will it really be? Well, in the scriptures we just read, it's going to be it's known as a salvation that's going to be said. It's no more going to be said, the Lord liveth that bringeth up the children of Israel out of Egypt, but the Lord liveth that bringeth up the children of Israel out of the north land and out of the land, out of all the lands which he has scattered them, man. Why? Because we're going to be beamed up. And it's also known as a strange salvation, which is very strange when we tell people they're going to be beamed up. These are things that they couldn't get. You see what I'm saying? And then ultimately, another thing that's going to solidify, help bring forth the salvation is this part. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after I will send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill out of the holes from Slakia and out of the holes of the rocks. So that's all a part of pretty much the Lord's salvation, man. You see what I'm saying? So real quick, I'm going to go ahead and get this, and I'm going to close this out. So the Lord is a strange salvation in which the prophets themselves have to inquire and had to inquire, right? The ancient prophets had to inquire and have to search diligently for, to make sure we getting it, to truly really understand, to know when it's gonna come. That we're looking for it, man. Yahweh Shai, because he gonna bring it. You see? But it's of such a magnitude that the Lord, he has to set it up perfectly, man, because it's known as a strange salvation, man. This is the wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand. See, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness. It's hard to do it when you down and out and you ain't really got all the signs to line up, but we finally in that time now, man. We finally in that time where we standing up because we see all this hell could only bring the salvation. That's why the Lord set that set that up to be wrote like that. Jeremiah in the 16th chapter. How it jumped. It goes from scattering to then he gonna save. Cause that's how it's set up, man. Cause that's what it can only bring forth. If I stab you, it can only bring forth blood. You see what I'm saying? But see, by the times we coming in, someone can stab you then, and it can only bring forth your skin regenerating or something like that. Or you, it not even piercing your skin. Because spiritual powers is written to be written in as a part of that salvation. Because if your enemy tries to stab you, but it don't go through your skin, right? Because of spiritual power, wouldn't that line up with being saved from the hand of your enemies, all of them that hate you? You see what I'm saying? If you're an Israelite, so-called black, Negro, African American, Latino, Latina, West Indian, and Native American Indian, wouldn't that line up with being saved from your enemies? Yes. A bullet gets shot at you, you grab it out the air. So this is how deep this is. So let me go ahead and get this and close out. This is Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. You see what I'm saying? Because we just look crazy. And the world we live in, you see you subject to it, you in the flesh. So that's why the prophets, we knew, like the prophets knew, but they even had to inquire and search diligently. You see what I'm saying? Because they needed themselves. We needed our damn selves. We Israelites, man. We just got a particular office, man, as being an Israelite. You see? It says, when they see it, see what? Who's they? The Israelites that don't believe. The heathens that think they're going to have rule over us forever. So we coming in a time now where the Lord made it clear, because it said the spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So the prophets have come back. You see what I'm saying? And those doing the prophets' work will be likened unto will be the prophets, man. The spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So whoever's doing prophet work, that's the spirit of a prophet, man. The ancient times. So now the prophets back in this time, seeing clearly no one knows who they are. You see what I'm saying? Prophets themselves don't know who the hell they are. No one knows. You see what I'm saying? But they back nonetheless. Because the Israelite, the Lord said there's no end of the nations, of any nation. Ecclesiastes. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, the Israelites are still here, including those prophets, but now they're able to stand in great boldness and see that, okay, there's salvation here, man, and this is how it's gonna happen. But no one wants to believe it. It says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, because men gonna be turned from fishers to hunters. Spiritual power is gonna be given. Men gonna be getting beamed up. Men and women, the Israelites. It's gonna be so-called Mexicans in the air, so-called blacks, Indians, all these different things being beamed up, flying, making it out their hand of their enemies, man. It says, our enemies, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. You see, so far beyond all that they looked for. So that's why they were looking, because and searching diligently, because it's rich. It's a rich salvation that's been written, man. So this is 1 Peter 1:10, of which salvation, you see that same salvation. Verse 9, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls, because that's what it is, getting your life saved, of which salvation the prophets have inquired, but the Lord's going to do it in such an amazing way, right? Of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesies of the grace that shall come unto you, searching what manner of time the spirit of Hamashiach, which was in them, did signify when it testified beforehand the sufferings of Hamashiach and the glory that shall follow. So unto whom it was revealed that not unto themselves, but unto us they did minister the things which are now reported unto you by them that have preached the gospel unto you with the Holy Spirit sent down from heaven, which things the angels desire to look into. So this is how serious this is, man. So, I ain't gonna keep this going any much longer, but this salvation is what we've been looking for, and we know it's of that magnitude just because of this right here, man. So it's coming, man. So Lord wants us to be edified. I'm gonna give our honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, man. Stay focused on it, lock in on it, repent, rebuke Satan. Shalom. Kwam Yasha Allah.